Hey everybody, welcome back. Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. It's baby. Baby's here. Hello, did you hear that hiccup? Hello, baby. I've learned... Oh, she's smiling. She's smiling. I've learned baby hiccup is a good sign. You know, at first you get sort of alarmed because, you know, she's like somewhat uncomfortable with the hiccups, as anyone is, but, you know, it means that she had a good breakfast, right? Right, baby? Not a surprise, you know, probably babies and mouth are the two demographics in society that seem to get the most hiccups. Okay, Lazarus, that's fine. I'm stoked. We're on a streak of 1, which is better than we've done for the last 4 or 5 days. NJLBVEFH. Hoping for some statistics. Okay, this is amazing. Like, actually incredible. You take the Book of Sin. I wonder there's no chance you could grab the nail, get the grab the nail, mash it, grab the battery, mash it again. But we actually want to die anyway, so hold on. You should use this. Grab the nail. This is like as close to a win as you can get this early on, I think. I suppose, okay, it turns out we should have left the battery on the ground. But I thought we were going to respawn, inside of this room. I forgot Lazrags respawns you in to deal with the devil. That's fine, no? People will always say things like, you've played Isaac for 4,000 hours. How'd you forget about that? Well, you've been driving for 10 years. How do you forget to use your turn signals constantly? Yeah, exactly. See? I got you. I've been watching dash cam footage. I freaking got you, man. Anyway, you know, why do babies get the hiccups all the time? I think they eat until they're full, like stuffed, basically. And then, secondarily, they don't have great control of their diaphragm to begin with. And then, thirdly, they're constantly getting, like, picked up. And I think being picked up, you know, that's something, I feel like if I was, if I drank, like, you know, a pint of milk, and not that the baby's drinking a pint of milk, I'm just trying to, you know, scale it proportionally for size, but the baby's drinking, like, a pint of milk, or let me rephrase. Sorry, it's still pretty early on a Sunday morning over here. If I drank a pint of milk and then got on like a little roller coaster, I'd probably end up with the hiccups too, man. Constantly getting picked up and jostled and, you know, yada yada. I will say I have been watching some dash cam footage, not like religiously, but, you know, on YouTube I have like a very simple kind of like consumption algorithm. I got a couple of like investment channels I like to watch. You know, figure out what's going on with, like, European lumber stocks and stuff like that. And then, no, like, I'm not one of those... look, it's not an investing thing. But, like, every investment thumbnail on YouTube looks like such an incredible scam. I'm more of, like, you know, they're all, like, bright white and have like a graph and a bunch of rocket ships. You must buy this tomorrow or you'll be a wage slave for the rest of your life. I'm more like, there's a couple of people that I watch that are like, you know, hey, you know, the fundamentals of VIX, the volatility index. That's more like me. But once I run out of those, or, you know, if even I find myself bored by those, which does happen from time to time, it's time for me to start watching some Vancouver dashcam stuff. I mean, I was, when we got our car, you know, like 6 years ago, I was kind of paranoid to drive in Vancouver. And I was like, well, we can get a car, but, like, I don't think I want to drive. I think I'll just, like, Kate, if you want to drive, you can drive, but I don't really want to drive. I think it's kind of, like, scary to drive here. I'm happy with public transit, etc., etc. Which is true, I am happy with public transit in Vancouver, as long as you're, you know, going to some place that's on one of the SkyTrain lines. If you're waiting for the bus... It's not necessarily bad, but, you know, but the bus doesn't skirt traffic, let's put it that way, you know? The bus is traffic. The SkyTrain, it goes in a little tunnel under the earth, sometimes over the earth as well. Well, not in outer space, but how cool would that be, Elon? Then I realized that I'm one of those probably annoying passengers. I don't... Look, if you're driving the car, it's your right to essentially drive it however you choose. I don't backseat drive, but when I'm not in control of the vehicle, I do get a little more apprehensive than when I'm in control of the vehicle. which I think to some extent is natural, but it creates some annoyance, you know, like when you're grabbing the handle up in the top right of the passenger seat, the driver might get a little bit annoyed. So I basically just started driving all the time. I think it's made me a much better driver, because, you know, they teach you, if you go to, like, driving school, they teach you defensive driving usually, because, I mean, I don't know what offensive driving is. It's like, a lot of people appear to have taken that class, but it wasn't offered to me. Defensive driving is essentially the idea that you should always assume that everybody around you is unpredictable and could at any given moment make the dumbest decision of all time and put your life in danger. And honestly, and this is like such a beautiful run. This is like the game is giving me like a mea culpa. I'm not going to take Sack Dagger, but the only reason I'm not going to take it is because we're already crushing it here. I don't want to risk our HP. So yeah, defensive driving teaches you, you know, you shouldn't assume necessarily, when given the choice, you shouldn't assume that, you know, the people on the road with you are always going to make the safest decision. Now, I will say, you know, some of the stuff they teach you, at least in my driving school, was not very practical. Like, some of the stuff, the one that annoys me all the time, and I've had discussions about this before in content, but at my driving school, and I can always tell when I'm behind somebody that went to the same driving school as me, because it's like a national chain here, they told us, like, when you come to a red light, you should always leave, like, 3 car lengths between you and the car in front of you, or the stopping line, and then as more cars filter in behind you, you should slowly move up, you know, closer and closer. Basically, you're giving them a little bit of a cushion, so if they come in too hot, you can accelerate and give them a little extra braking space in case they weren't paying attention for some reason. Look, I understand the principle. In reality, especially driving, you know, in a fairly big city with, like, you know, rush hour traffic and... dude, what the heck are they doing to me here? This is incredible. And, you know, people are trying to squeeze in and be, like, the last car that can actually fit without blocking the intersection prior. Like, there's a lot of, you know, you really, if you do that, you're gonna annoy people, okay? I think there's a time and a place for stuff like that, but... I took defensive driving, and, you know, I feel like living in Vancouver, a city that is possibly, you know, I'm not going to say the traffic is that bad, but the standard of driving is really, really poor. I think it's made me a much better driver, because instead of just internalizing that I should just assume that people are going to do the stupidest thing possible at any given moment, I actually get to, you know, like, live it on a daily basis. It becomes second nature. So when I watch, like, Vancouver dashcam footage, there's stuff like you'd be stunned at the amount of people driving in the wrong lane. It's like the British invasion. Sorry, the joke popped into my head and I was like, it's not that funny, but it makes sense because they drive on the opposite side of the road. Notice I didn't say the wrong side of the road. You know, it's different strokes for different folks here, but well, not really. I mean, like, you have to drive on the side of the road that is the side of the road you're supposed to drive on. But, and then, you know, people driving in bike lanes, or people driving, you know, on the beach accidentally, which I don't even know really how it happens. That stuff, you know, I'm not going to say it, you know, doesn't bother you. But to some extent, I'm like, I've seen it before. I've been, you know, I've had a clear green light. I've had people just, you know, for no reason, just because they're not paying attention, that were going the opposite direction, or, like, you know, perpendicular. They'll just go, not noticing that they had a red light, and then, like, while they go through the intersection, they're just clearly saying, like, sorry out their window and stuff like that. You're like, don't say sorry, just obey the light, you know? But the stuff that scares the crap out of me is, like, the road rage stuff, man. I've never... I mean, you know, I feel like when you talk about road rage, there's a couple of different things you can talk about, right? Oh my god, come on. Have I ever gotten mad while driving? Yeah. Look at this guy, look at this dummy. What's this dummy doing? Hey, dummy. I wouldn't even say it to their face, but, you know. Have I given people the finger, maybe, while driving? Sure, yeah. Have I looked at people and, like, when I went by them, like, pointed at my head, like, what are you doing? What's wrong? You know? Yeah, okay. Not on the regular, but there have been incidents where I've done it, and it felt great, for the record. Have I ever had a genuine road rage incident. Absolutely not. You know, it's just driving. Like, at the end of the day, driving is not, you know, like, your life. For most people, it's literally just like, I'm trying to get to the supermarket or whatever. Some of the road rage incidents you see in these videos are, like, nuts, man. Like, the ones that'll blow your mind is, like, you know, dash cam footage, and the person who has the dash cam gets cut off. So they give a little honk, like, hey, you cut me off, you jerk. And then the person that cut them off just slams on their brakes to, like, 0 to try to get them to bash into, like, the tail end of their car. Like, that's just crazy, man. Well, what kind of loser do you have to be like, oh, because my feelings are hurt? You know what I really want to do is get him. First off, damage my car, damage their car, possibly cause either of us, you know, some injuries that even if it's going pretty slow, you know, could be chronic, or, you know, you can get whiplash and stuff like that. But then on top of that, like, how big of a loser do you have to be like, somebody hurt my feelings while I was driving on the road? Let's go through, like, a complicated insurance claim and stuff like that. Like, I get it, like, you love insurance. Like if you love insurance so much, why don't you, like, you know, marry Manulife or something like that? Like, don't waste everybody else's time. It's just crazy, man. There's a lot of, like, fragile people out there. I mean, like, getting your feelings, why don't you just start, like, a YouTube channel and then complain about these people, like, anonymously instead later? Can't you just vent on your Facebook like the average person? Like, it's dangerous. I don't know, like, I'm sure it's criminal, like, obviously, to, like, cause a car accident, or to contribute to the cause of a car accident willfully, but, like, it should be more illegal. I don't know how illegal it is, but it should be much more illegal, is my take on the subject. Like, that dash cam footage, I don't know. Look, I'm not saying it is attempted murder, but maybe you could kind of lump it in with attempted murder. Like, if you try to brake check somebody to get it, you know, cause them to hit your car. I don't know, just throwing that out there. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not running for public office. I have the luxury of saying whatever I want. I'm a private citizen. The worst, though, is, like, you ever get in the car with, like, an aggressive driver. If you are an aggressive driver, by the way, just stop, okay? Like, I don't know if it's, like, an upbringing thing. I kind of think it isn't, to some extent. Like, my dad, I wouldn't say he's an aggressive driver, but, you know, he gets upset sometimes behind the wheel to the extent that it makes the passengers uncomfortable. I'm comfortable with it now just because I've grown up with it, so you're like, the discomfort is comfortable, you know? But he's not like the kind of person who would be like, oh, you passed me? I don't think so. But I've driven with people like that in the past, and it's like, oh my god, you're like... the worst feeling is being the passenger... Well, I mean, there's probably worse feelings. But, you know, one of the worst feelings of, like, helplessness is being the passenger in a car for somebody who wants to just keep driving faster and faster. So they'll, like, in the passing lane, they'll just get right up on people's bumpers and, like, you know, just basically intimidate them until they move over. And don't get me wrong, like, I understand the idea that slower moving traffic should be in the right lane. I drive, you know, well, it depends. I drive in the appropriate lane. I'm not gonna say I drive in the right lane most of the time because, you know, there's I mean, the highways in British Columbia are an interesting mix of people who are, like, too afraid to go the speed limit, so they go under the speed limit, which is much more dangerous. And then also people who are like, I got my dad's, you know, Nissan Skyline GTR. If I don't hit 200 on the highway kilometers per hour, then, like, what's the point of even being out here right now? So I drive in the appropriate lane, but, like, that doesn't mean, you know, if you're already going, like, 40 kilometers an hour over the speed limit, and you encounter somebody in front of you that's going, you know, 20 kilometers an hour over the speed limit, just slow down, right? Like, I feel otherwise you find yourself in this positive feedback loop. I don't know, people see it as like a contest or something like that. It's just it's very, there's so much bravado, like, wrapped up in driving. It's weird to me. Anyway, long story short, I guess that was on my mind. I didn't really think about it before the episode started. But it feels good to banter again, man. Look at this. Baby, you're being very polite. Thank you, by the way. She's hanging on every word. She's like Kel Mitchell in Good Burger. I understood some of those words. You've been in the car. Daddy's not an aggressive driver. Yeah, Daddy doesn't even have that much chance to be an aggressive driver. Mostly it's kind of like, you know, stop and go traffic. But you see me on the highway, you know, on I-5 between Vancouver, British Columbia and Seattle on the way to PAX. Skirt! That's the sound of me going 3 miles an hour over the speed limit. Skirt! Ooh, this is reckless. Hold on, we're on Dank Depths 2 already. Okay. Of course, on the run that's an easy win, I checked. On the average run that maybe is a little tougher, I'm like, nah, let's just let it ride, man. This is going to be a very fast one today. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, today is... oh, that's very good. Today is a Sunday. You can tell, I think I have a gentler tone. That's because yesterday, all of my talking essentially was done to an infant that's, you know, 4.5 months old. So you have a gentle tone. Yeah, how about that? You know, you should be thankful. I'm not saying things to you like, ah, boo, 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 boo. Ah, boo, 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 boo. And don't even start with me, okay? Because I've seen it. The backseat parenting, it's actually, and I think I've said this before, because I've said, you know, everything before in this series, but it's funny, the most backseat parenting you get online is from people who are not parents, for sure. I read online, you should never baby talk to your baby. Because if you baby talk to your baby, they might think that that's actually the way that language works. I guess we should stick with Book of Revelations. And you don't want your kid to be, you know, grown up and they're going to have permanently hobbled language ability because you said a boo-boo-boo-boo-boo-boo to them a couple of times. Okay, well, I consider myself a pretty good talker, you know, and I'm just thinking about this one for a second. I consider myself a pretty good talker. You know, I can keep a running dialogue going with very little prompting for an hour or so on the regular, multiple times per day. And even I run out of things to say to the baby sometimes. Like, sometimes I'm just like, you know what? You're getting hit with the boo-boo-boo-boo-boo. That's what you're getting right now. It's the same thing, you know. Have I let our baby look at a television? This is good, right? It's a cool synergy. It's a cool synergy. Yes, you will hear and you will read things online like babies should not look at a television until they're 2 years old. You know, because I mean, I understand in principle. By the way, you definitely should not sit in front of the TV with the baby on the regular and just zone out. You know, instead of spending that time, you know, watching 90 Day Fiancé. What you should be doing. But look, you know what? I think actually rubber cement could be fun here. Let's take it. We don't take a boss rush item too much. But oh, looking like a marketing gif you'd use to sell the game. How about that? That's the best kind of synergy. But I'm here to tell you, like, in reality, like, there are situations where, like, you know, both parents for a little bit need to get something done. If having the baby sit in front of the television, or not sit, like, in front of the TV, but you know what I mean, like, be on the baby lounge or on the couch and, you know, they're enamored with the flashing lights that are the Canucks game or whatever. My personal take, I'm not a developmental psychologist, but, you know, half an hour here or there when I'm taking down the garbage and my wife's maybe doing the dishes, you know, I don't think it's gonna kill you. Once you have a child, you have to live in reality, you know? It's the same way. Again, I'm not really frustrated with it, to be honest. We just kind of, like, laugh at it. But, because, you know, we were kind of like that before we had the baby as well. You know, you're like, the baby should never do this. And you're like, well, when I say never, it's like, endeavor to do it as little as possible. Not like the baby's going to explode. You know, like, let's be honest, like, the baby's having the, you know, being self-occupied for like 10-15 minutes in front of the television, that might be like a little developmentally, you know, the most effective use of their time. But sometimes, I guarantee you, we put her down to sleep at, you know, like 8 p.m. now. She probably pees like half an hour later, and then we're waking her up at like 7. She's sitting in a pee diaper, I'm sure, sometimes for like 10 hours. What do you think's worse? Looking at some flashing lights for a couple of minutes, or he was sitting in a bag of wet waste for, you know. And I know it sounds like a dereliction, but no, when the baby sleeps, you let her sleep, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like the real world. Again, people, you know, it's very, I guess it's easy to like min-max other people's lives. Is a common trend that we've discussed before, but like, you know, I always laugh. I thought it was a prescient bit where I was like, you know, people have very, very strong opinions over like what's an effective diet and what's like not an effective diet, and that's all very fair. But, you know, and I've been this guy myself, but, you know, you'll be like shoveling potato chips in your mouth and being like, keto doesn't work. You're never gonna last on keto. Eventually you're gonna crave spinach too much, you know? And I'm like, more sun chips, please. Like, at least they're trying something, right? What is, there's like a Patton quote or something, right? It's like, no, even the best plan doesn't survive engagement with the enemy or something like that. There's something to say about that for real life, you know? You got the best intentions, but occasionally you're like, you know, just leave her on the boppy for a little bit and we'll go, you know, you can do the dishes, I'll take the recycling down and sort it, you know? You gotta live in the real world. It's the same thing, you know, like, and I am guilty, everybody's guilty of it, right? We all know, like, the things you should and should not, you know, consume as an adult, really. Even still, though, it'll be like, oh man, you shouldn't eat that. It's like 3,000 calories. Then you think about, you know, yourself and you're like, wait a minute. I ate 3,500 calories yesterday. I did have a good joke. You know that potentially problematic meme where it was like, you know, what girls do with a time machine versus what guys do with a time machine? So, I don't know, it's a joke at my own expense, so don't take it the wrong way, but what girls do with a time machine would be like, you know, oh my god, hi grandma, or something like that, you know? And, you know, that's fine. I think that's a good use of a time machine. Mine, it was going to be going back in time to 2019 and telling my former self, boys, don't start a bulk. The global pandemic is going to limit your gym access. You're going to wish that you cut instead of bulked, I promise you. I think it could be a good joke. If anybody, you know, I'm not going to pay you for it. If anybody wants to make it, and then I will retweet it. If you consider that an equitable share of the labor, then let's consider that. So shall it be written, so shall it be done. Well, I don't know. We've made no points, like no coherent points over the course of this entire run. But oh my god, it really was amazing though. Like Monstro's Lung, Brimstone, Rubber Cement, Cricket's Head, like all in the last. Well, I guess it's definitely all in the last 20 minutes. What did I get up to this weekend? Well, I mean, we got like 4 minutes. That's an appropriate time to talk about, you know, what you did on a weekend during COVID. I did a couple of things. You know, it takes me a while to set my videos, to be honest, because I'm, you know, slowly getting better maybe at making these bespoke thumbnails. But, you know, let's not worry about that. But then, like, after that, you know, I did a little investment research. I'm not trying to flex. But then after that, I had like one chore on my list. And that chore was to clear out my solid-state hard drive, move the stuff that was not, like, played frequently to the hard disk so that my solid-state drive had more space on it. I'm happy to report mission accomplished. And it really, like, I feel today the way, like, I'm sure people feel when they, like, clean out their closet from clothes they don't wear anymore. Like, I'm so free. Like, I don't have to worry that, you know, if something gets saved in my downloads folder, that I'm not going to be able to record an Isaac episode unless I, you know, clear out the recycling bin or whatever. Feels good. I did also install, I mean, that's a great item, honestly. I installed the texture pack for Minecraft. I'm going back to Dadcraft. I mean, I'm going back to Dadcraft as of yesterday, if you're watching this video as it comes out. And I'm excited to do so. But yeah, that was pretty much my weekend. I mean, my Saturday at least. Today, it's only Sunday at 9:53 a.m. So I guess like a lot of the weekend's still left, but I got to stream today, so you know. Rip to your average weekend, but my weekends are just built different. And we had a lot of baby time. Right, sweetie? Got to read some books. Got to jump in the Jolly Jumper. Wasn't that fun? She's like, yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. Hope you learned something about defensive driving. And, hey, watch me live on Twitch. 11 to 4 Pacific. The logical 11 to 4, not the night owl 11 to 4. I'm live every day but Saturday. Twitch.tv/Northernlion. And, hey, let me make a sales pitch. There will be Repentance streams when Repentance comes out. It won't just be relegated to YouTube. We'll be playing a little on Twitch, so why don't you give me a preemptive follow over there? I know you're like, I only like Isaac. I don't need to watch anything else. Well, that's very much not the case. Most people are like, it's not like people are like, I only watch Isaac. Nothing else he does has any appeal. Most of it is, he appeals to me enough that I'll endure Isaac in order to hear some more banter. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. See ya.